What if the perfect mower for your small yard doesn't need gas, doesn't need a battery, and doesn't even need you? Stick around, because the machine at number 1 on this list can literally map your entire yard by itself and then mow it while you're at work. Here's the thing about small yards nobody tells you. Bigger, more expensive, doesn't mean better here. It usually just means you bought the wrong tool for the job. A $500 self-propelled mower on a tiny flat lawn is like buying a pickup truck to drive to the mailbox. All that extra power just sits there unused. So we're counting down 5 mowers that actually make sense for a small yard, from the simplest option you can buy to the one that basically removes mowing from your life entirely. And for each one, I'll tell you exactly what kind of yard it's actually right for. Quick note before we start. Prices on this stuff swing wildly with sales, sometimes by hundreds of dollars in a single week. So treat these numbers as ballparks, not guarantees, and always check for a current deal before you buy. Here's a question worth sitting with for a second. What if the best mower for your yard doesn't plug in, doesn't need a battery, and never runs out of power? That's the whole idea behind the Fiskars StaySharp Max, a push-powered mower with no motor at all, running around $200 to $230. You push it, the blades spin from the wheels turning, and grass gets cut. No gas, no charging, no cords, ever. Fiskars redesigned the classic reel mower to be 60% easier to push than older versions, and its blades are built to stay sharp without the annual sharpening older reel mowers needed. There's a real catch though, and it's important. This only works well on flat, mostly clear lawns. Sticks and rough patches will jam it up fast. So if your yard is small, flat, and tidy, this is genuinely the simplest, cheapest, most maintenance-free option on this entire list. Think about what you're not buying here too. No battery to eventually degrade, no motor to eventually fail, nothing electronic to break down at all. If it's bumpy or overgrown, skip straight to the next one. Now here's a question that trips people up constantly. Do you actually need a self-propelled mower? Or are you just paying extra for a feature your small yard doesn't need? The Greenworks 40V 16-inch is a simple push mower, meaning you still provide the walking power, but the cutting comes from a quiet, gas-free electric motor, typically priced between $250 and $280, and it dips as low as $210 during sales. It handles yards up to about a third of an acre on one charge of its battery, weighs under 40 pounds, folds flat for storage, and starts with a push of a button instead of yanking a pull cord. For a small, mostly flat yard, self-propulsion is honestly overkill. You're basically guiding the mower more than pushing it, so you'd be paying for a feature you'd barely notice. This is the sweet spot for someone who wants to ditch gas completely without spending ego or Toro money to do it. And with over 5,000 of these sold on Amazon in a single recent month, it's clearly resonating with exactly that person. So what happens when you actually do want real power behind you? When a small yard still has a slope, thick grass, or you just don't want to walk behind a mower fighting to push it forward? Meet the EGO Power Plus LM2114SP, a battery-powered, self-propelled mower priced at $549. Here's the number that matters. It produces torque that genuinely rivals a gas mower in the 150 to 170 cc range, which is a real jump from the 2 mowers above it on this list. It runs about 50 minutes on a single charge, comfortably enough for a quarter-acre yard, and its self-propel system lets you control speed with a simple touch-sensitive dial instead of a clunky lever. Backed by a 5-year warranty, one of the strongest in the entire battery mower category. The honest trade-off is price. This costs roughly double the Greenworks above it, so you're paying for real muscle and self-propulsion. Features a genuinely small, flat yard may never actually need. If your small yard has any real incline or thick grass though, this is where you stop compromising on power. Put simply, the Fiskars and Greenworks above it are asking your yard to be cooperative. This one doesn't need your yard's cooperation at all. Quick gut check. Would you rather spend 30 minutes every week mowing, or 0 minutes, ever? That's the entire pitch behind the eufy E15, a robot mower that lists at $2,300 but routinely sells for somewhere between $1,000 and $1,300 during sales, so definitely shop around before paying full price. It uses cameras and onboard software to map your yard automatically. No buried boundary wire, no separate GPS antenna to install, and it handles yards up to about a fifth of an acre. Once it's mapped, you set a schedule in an app and basically never think about mowing again. It just goes out and does it. Real talk though, reviewers consistently flag battery life and software quirks as its 2 weak points, and it's really only built for flat yards under 18 degrees of slope with grass under 3.5 inches tall. If your yard genuinely fits that narrow profile and you can catch it on sale, it's a legitimate way to remove mowing from your to-do list forever. Just don't pay the full $2,300 list price. At that number, you're better served by the machine coming up next. And here's the machine I teased at the very top, the one that makes the eufy above it look almost basic by comparison. The Dreame A3 AWD 2000 is a robot mower priced at $1,999, and it covers up to half an acre, more than double the eufy's range. Here's the detail that actually separates it from everything else on this list. Its mapping system uses advanced 3D vision to build a map of your yard completely on its own. No boundary wire buried in the ground. No separate positioning antenna bolted to your house. And unlike most robot mowers, which quietly give up the moment your yard has any slope, this one has an all-wheel drive system that can climb grades up to 80%, hills that would stall a lot of these machines outright. Once it's set up, you're not mowing anymore. You're just occasionally checking an app to see it's done its job, adjusting a schedule, or a cutting height from your couch, instead of standing in the sun. The catch is obvious. $2,000 is a real number for a lawnmower, more than every other machine on this list combined. But if you've got a small yard with any real slope to it, and you genuinely never want to push a mower again, this is currently the most capable machine built to make that true. Think about what you're actually buying at that price. It's not just a mower, it's every single Saturday morning you get back for the rest of the time you own this house. So there's your range, from a $200 mower with zero moving parts you have to charge, all the way up to a machine that maps and mows your entire yard without you lifting a finger. Which one actually fits your yard? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've got a mower on this list you've actually used, I want to hear whether it lived up to the hype. Subscribe if you want more honest buying guides like this one. Thanks for watching.